Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Hocus Pocus 2, the sequel to a movie that a lot of kids from the 90s like. A lot of 90s kids like it. It came out in the 90s, right? Yeah, wasn't my thing, but let's look at it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, which includes stories about witches. So I do like witches. I like this 370 years later, after the witches get their powers. But, this takes place in Salem, and it's very Disney. It's very old school Disney, where it's like they just make up a bunch of hooey to make this stuff work. Oh, witches get their powers at 16, and they're very wacky, and the witches in the story come back and they have 24 hours to do something, so they or they won't be alive. So they have to take the souls of the other girls. I guess they're bad guys. I don't know. I didn't see the first movie. And then Sarah Jessica Parker is the dumb one, and Bette Midler is the Mo to their Mo, Larry, and Curly. So it is kind of like the Stooges. I mean, I don't hate it. September 30th. Oh, it's a movie streaming event. So it's not even in theaters? It seems like this should be a theater, Disney. It should be in theaters. PG. Yeah, it's a bit wacky because it's PG. There's the scene where this guy digs up a zombie and he says, "No, don't run away. I'm a good zombie." I'm not sure if that's a reference to the first movie. I mean, she says, "Spread out," which is a Stooges thing, by the way. And then Sarah Jessica Parker does this with her arms and legs. I mean, it's funny if you're like 5. This is, a movie for 5-year-olds and people who are nostalgic for the characters. Look, I'm nostalgic about Banana Splits. I'm sure many of you out there are nostalgic for this, and you're just like, "Oh, I can't wait. I don't begrudge it. I mean, it looks well produced enough. Doesn't look like Bette Midler's going to give anybody a lecture. And, I like witches. They got their powers and they're flying around and doing all sorts of wacky stuff. Does seem to be mildly consistent with the internal logic of its movie. They got to get here's the MacGuffin, the magic book. I mean, it's a bit big. Often I say when they're doing movies, you got to go big, right? Especially with comedies. This is a kid's movie. They tend to go too big on kids' movies. It's like too wacky, too goofy. It's kind of a turn off to adults. You just, at some point, go, all right. But, you can't go wrong with the Three Stooges. So this is kind of Stooge-like. And it's about 2 girls who want to become witches, and you got a cool flashback with the witches turning into witches at 16. I'm not sure who their mentor witch is. Is that from the first movie? I'm not sure. It looks cute enough, I guess. Cool effects. Here's the book with an eye in it. So it's not my movie, but would I watch it? Probably not. First act, the girls, they're into witchcraft, and they're into all the witchy things, and they go to the store where they buy tarot cards and all that happy horse-s. And then one day they get this magic candle, and they go out in the woods and light it, and they get their powers, and then the witches return. And so they're timeless, so they look exactly the same, so that all works. They're like cartoon characters. And then they have a short amount of time to get the MacGuffin that they need to do everything, but the girls are resistant because they don't want their souls eaten. I like that part of it. I like that part, that the witches are actually bad guys. They're bumbling, but they're kind of bad guys. So they're going to try to take the girls' souls or whatever, so they continue to live, and the girls die, I guess, or lose their soul. I don't know. Might be cool. I mean, it looks wacky. So the first act, and then second act is the witches come back, possibly after a flashback, and they start running amok. Then they have to get certain MacGuffins in place, and then the girls, I don't know, steal the book and show up at Salem's Scream Fest or whatever, and uh, goof around. I don't know. So they're kind of clueless, but they're evil. I mean, I like if they're treating the witches as evil, but I kind of get the sense they're very bumbling. And again, I only saw the trailer of the first movie, so I didn't see the actual movie, but I sort of know of it. Um, so I don't even know the plot or the names of the characters, but they're like the Three Stooges of witches, what? Right? I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. And then the third act, it all goes wrong. The girls live, the witches go back into their grave, and then maybe they do a third movie with somebody else. Um, so, I mean, it's a Halloweeny movie for kids. Harmless, fun. Hopefully they don't woke it up with some stupid thing about misogyny or whatever. Don't see anything in that looks like they're doing that, although I'm sure Bette Midler's just itching to say something. But Sarah Jessica Parker is doing her part, and I'm not sure who the other actress is. It's got some good effects, I guess. They're in a CVS, and I don't know. It doesn't look much to it, I'll say that. It doesn't look like there's a big set piece at the end of this. So I'm not sure if it's an end of the world thing, or maybe they're teeing this up for a TV series or another movie. But, you know, you can only wish that there were actual shops like this that could exist and make money. I assume there's probably one or two in Salem, but I mean, it looks fun. I don't know. It's not for me. I'm too old for it. I didn't see the first one. I'd have so many unanswered questions. And it's Disney, too, so last thing I need is to give Disney my money. But, again, I don't begrudge you if you're going to go see this movie. Will it be good? I don't know. I think if you saw the first movie and you're nostalgic for it, I think you'll like it at least. You know, even if it's not that great, you'll say, oh, it was all right. You know, it'll be one of those movies for you. For kids, I'm sure little kids would think it's fun and goofy if they keep it that way. It looks fun and goofy. So I think it'll be a harmless movie. A harmless movie for Halloween. Something you can take the kids to. You don't have to worry about it. You can just kind of check your brain at the door and they'll have a good time. And then, 20 years later when they make Hocus Pocus 3 or the remake, they'll go to that with their kids. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. I will be at the Veterans Memorial Museum in Tuckerton, New Jersey tomorrow from 10 to, I think it's 4. There'll be a big wine truck, beer truck, food truck thing. Big event with lots of food and booze. So come on out. I'll have my table, and you can get loaded and stuff your face and buy a Pineys. And we'll see you tomorrow.